First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, B. Cannon, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
Doing things you cannot believe. It's the 3-Man Weave back again with another episode. And today we are doing our final division preview. And it was not intentional, but we are doing the NFC North division preview. Before we get started, I am one of your hosts, AJ. Along with me, who do I have?
Y'all already know who it is. Your boy Hill. Hill gonna hear regardless, baby.
Regardless.
Yeah.
You know you can find us on all major podcast platforms, 3-Man Weave, 3-Man Weave _ on Instagram and Twitter, formerly known as X, or currently known as X, actually. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. Hey, man. Let's get it.
Well, you know how we've been continuing to do it, starting from last to first, how they finished last year. And
all right, so let's go ahead. Let's start with the Bears, man. Give me what do you think about the Bears offseason?
Well, one off rep, getting Ben Johnson was a home run.
Absolutely.
I got a bit outside. That was a home run right then and there, man. Getting Ben Johnson, for especially the coaching staff that they had last year. Some of the things that we was hearing about, how Caleb Williams wasn't coached, and how we just seen how the offense was just ran, and it was just nasty. At certain points, it was just like, did y'all practice this? It was just so. If we think that Ben Johnson is who he is, even if he's just a percentage of what he was in Detroit, that's a massive upgrade than what they had going on in Chicago. Getting a Luther Burton in the draft, it was kind of I was kind of confused, but I do like it now that I think about it. That I do like that. I like the aspect of it. I think that Roma Dunze will actually be used better in this offense with Ben Johnson. I'm not necessarily sure the fit of what Ben Johnson did in Detroit fits a Roma Dunze, but if Ben Johnson is who we've deemed him to be, he should be able to cater his offense around his playmakers. So I do think that DJ Moore will have an amazing year based off how I do believe how he used Amon-Ra. DJ can step into that same role and actually be better.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has more talent. He doesn't have the heart that Amon-Ra got, and that's what separates Amon-Ra from a lot of people. But the talent-wise, I do think, DJ has more talent. So I think if you can just, swap roles and put him in those play, I think that DJ Moore will have an amazing year. They went and got Joe Thuney to try to shore up this offensive line, because once again, the offensive line did look bad at times. Yes. Was that a product of it being bad, the offensive ecosystem, or was it the fact that Caleb Williams liked to hold the ball a long time as well? We will see. But once again, a better offensive system in general should help the offensive line off that alone. They did have some pieces last year that could they played way worse than what they was supposed to play. The running back room, DeAndre Swift had some issues with Ben Johnson his first time around when they was in Detroit. He has no choice but to
better get it together.
Yeah, I do like Roshan Johnson, as a backup. They got Kyle Manungai as the draft pick. Kind of like what I saw, from him, in the draft process. Overall, getting the Dennis Allen as your defensive coordinator to go with the personnel that they have already. If you remember Dennis Allen as a defensive coordinator in New Orleans,
right?
Some of the pieces, I want to be specific when I said a defensive coordinator in New Orleans,
not the head coach.
Not the head coach. The pieces that he had in New Orleans kind of are similar to the pieces that he has now in Chicago. So I do think that's a seamless transition. So I do think that some of the hype that we gave the Bears last year was a little overblown, and not a little, it was a lot of overblown. The expectations were way too high. I think we're going to get a glimpse of what we thought we were going to get last year is my thing about the Bears.
Absolutely. And I know one of the points that, you brought up, I don't even think I really need to get to the offensive line, because to me, I think that what they did on that interior, getting Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, like you said, even if it was Caleb Williams' fault, to upgrade there is a good thing when you have somebody that may hold the ball, because now you're just keeping that interior pressure off just that much longer, and maybe that extra, click of a second is what can actually help, take them to the next step. And I know you mentioned, not really sure how, Rome Odunze may fit into this offense. I actually think that Rome Odunze could end up being Ben Johnson's larger version of Jamison Williams, that downfield deep threat, running those, 9 routes, those post bang eights, all of that. And get that, those long yards per reception. He may not be that targets eater. And then you have a Luther Burden, who is a high floor guy, a high ceiling guy, I should say, where he may end up being able to fit in either one of those roles. DJ Moore is getting up there in age, and so he could eventually take over as kind of that DJ Moore role. And then you have, what you would hope he would immediately kind of step in and, supplant Alameda Zacchaeus. So I do think that you are in a place to use Luther Burden as a chess piece. And quite honestly, you could do some of the things that you did with Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game with Luther Burden, if you do so choose to get a little bit frisky. You know what I'm saying? So I actually think that this offense with Ben Johnson, he's got plenty of ingredients to cook with. And the same thing that I preach for other first-time head coaches, get you a coordinator on the other side of the ball who has head coaching experience.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to micromanage everything while also worrying about your thing. And even though Dennis Allen may not have had a successful tenure with the New Orleans Saints, he does have that defensive coordinator pedigree where he ran a good defense and he's also ran a team. So, he knows how to run his meetings. He knows how to get those guys prepared and what you expect during the week. So now you can truly focus on your offense. So I actually think that this is one of those teams that can really make some noise with the upgrades and additions that they made. Because from the looks of it, just offensively, it looks like Ben Johnson has what he wants. If you ask me. Yeah. Like you said, like even you brought in your Colston Lovin as your pseudo Sam Laporta. And some tight ends take a couple years to actually reach who they're going to be, but it's not like they brought in Sam Laporta on an offense where it's just kind of barren. It's not like you're expecting him to walk in like we did with Brock Bowers, because when Brock Bowers walked into that Raiders offense, we didn't really truly know what was there. It was like, yeah, Jacoby Myers, but is Jacoby Myers really like You know what I mean? And then Brock
Mhm.
Bowers took off. You don't have that pressure with a Colston Loveland, and you made upgrades. So I think even if this defense doesn't take a step, which I actually truly think it will, I think this offense will be plenty tough for people to deal with. And like I said, like some of the things, like we said, we touched on the offense plenty, but I think a lot of this defense after that Commanders game last year,
Yeah.
everyone just kind of tuned things out. But having a Montez Sweat, a Gervon Dexter, a Grady Jarrett, a Andrew Billings in a rotation, and then also bringing in a Shamar Turner, and then you have a Daya Odeyingbo. It's like, I like what you can do as far as just getting, after the quarterback before, in a rush. And then let's not forget, you still got Jalen Johnson, you got Kevin, Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, and a lot of people like Jaquan Brisker coming out of the draft. And then you got Kevin Byard too. So I think there are some pieces on this defense where it's like, I see what y'all doing.
The defense was balling, like you said. The defense was balling last year before the Hail Mary game, and like you said, bringing in a Dennis Allen, like you said, when he can specifically just focus on the defense, like you said, that's not necessarily an upgrade, but it's definitely a good pickup, a good solid pickup, and for what you got going on, like you said, they should be, like you said, the expectations that they had last year was overblown, overhyped, over exaggerated. Everything that you really wanted to say, it was unattainable. It was. It was all that. So now they have an actual. They should have an actual floor. Is really what we're saying now. Like,
absolutely, and I think I mentioned it when I was discussing the Cardinals, but this is one of those teams people might have been a year early on, and the expectations were extremely high because people were going in saying, "Oh, no rookie quarterback has ever been in a situation that's perfect." But the whole thing that people forgot is you had a coach on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So this situation was not perfect. I'm also not saying, this is a situation that can't fail, because it definitely can. But I like what they're doing. And I think also with some of those tempered expectations on the rest of the team, because I think, Kyle, I keep saying Caleb Williams still going to have a lot of pressure on him, especially once you got Ben Johnson in there. I think those expectations are going to be high, but if they can, get going and really have a solid start, I think this is a team that could really reach some of their goals.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I mean, it could go bad, and if it goes bad, we can deal with. We would know the why.
Exactly.
Of why it went bad last year. Like I said, everything went bad and everything looked nasty, because of the coaching staff of things that they did. So, but just in particular this year, if things go bad, we would actually be able to pinpoint the reason why it went bad, and we can assess what it went bad, the reason why it went bad. But I mean, shouts out to them, man. They should have an exciting season. This division is tough, man. So it's like
absolutely.
It's similar to how we talked about the NFC West, to be quite honest.
Right. And it's so many, like, you can envision every single team in this division as a playoff contender. You could honestly see a path for every team in this division to win the division, to be quite honest. I'm not saying that hold on, hear me out. I'm not saying that the Bears, you look at the Bears and be like, I have a chance, but you look at the Lions, and we've seen you lose two coordinators, it could look completely different.
Yeah, when we get to the Lions,
and I'll explain why as we close it. But I do think that, just like I said, if Ben Johnson is who we think he is, and this defense takes a step, I see it as a possibility that this could be the team. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying you can see a path for every single team. This is one of those divisions that's tough. Same with the NFC West. But let's move on to the third place team in the division. And that third place team is Green Bay Packers. would you like to talk about the Green Bay Packers offseason, or you want me to do that?
I mean, absolutely. Like, they was on a trajectory. They was, I mean, if you listen to anybody else, let's say, like say they were getting propped up like as a
Yes.
feisty contender. I necessarily had them as a contending team, per se, but they was one of those teams. Okay, they get in the playoffs, the right matchup, they can make some noise. They just traded for Micah Parsons. I got them winning the Super Bowl. I'm just going to just straight up like say that right then and there. Matter of fact, I don't have them winning the Super Bowl. I want them to win the Super Bowl. It's really what I want to say.
Okay.
I want them to win the Super Bowl. But the addition of getting Micah changes everything in regards of the Packers.
Absolutely.
He is necessarily the missing piece. They are a team full of good dudes. Like good dudes. And what we said last year about Jordan Love, we needed Jordan Love to ascend to necessarily MVP like a type of level. He needed to be, join that elite tier. Now, it was a little quick and premature for us to say that, but for this team to reach where they want to be, he would have to get there because the team outside of a select few players, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, is that it? Like, as far as those type of players, everybody else is just, good players. They are well coached, so they do play above their mean. But they got exposed last year from their wide receiver core when they couldn't beat man coverage at all. Like the blueprint was play man, jam them at the line, and wreck the timing of this offense. And that was the clear cut, obviously other than Jordan Love injuries that he had to deal with. But that was the clear cut court. For them to go get a Matthew Golden. Now, I was high on the Matthew Golden because I thought that he was thought he was coming to Dallas. But I also thought that he was a good complementary number 2 type of wide receiver, upper echelon number 2 wide receiver that could potentially ascend to a number 1. In this offense, though, he could be slotted properly to be the number 1, and everybody else can fall in play. If he can beat man coverage, that changes a lot of things for this offense. Like, I'm not saying that he got to come in there and be Malik Neighbors and do everything. All I'm asking for him to selectively beat man coverage so that teams just can't just play them one particular way. You know what I'm saying? Be blueprint proof is what I'm saying.
Right.
They can be a legit contender. You can go ahead.
Right. And so I 100% agree with you. I think that this team has really elevated them. And, like I said, they had, a 3 of spades, 4 of spades, 6 of spades, but adding Micah Parsons, now you have a little joker in your hand. Now you feel like, all right.
That's a big joker.
The only reason why I didn't say a big joker is because I consider a big joker is like one of the top 3 quarterbacks. That's the only reason why I say big joker, because one of the top 3 quarterbacks is like, all right, now everything else can fall in place. You can play your hand basically knowing I got one. You know what I'm saying? At least with the little joker, you still kind of like, damn, who got the big?
Yeah.
And so I think that they added that little joker, and that little joker now, you could be a little bit like it takes that defense to like, damn, Jeff Hafley and that defense, they play, good sound football, and they got a bunch of, good solid dudes. So now it's like, damn, you can't put, a double team over towards Rashawn Gary because it's somebody else over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it completely elevates that room, and with the versatility that we have seen of Micah, where you can play him all over, it only makes it so much harder for you to figure out, all right, what are we going to do with Edgerrin Cooper? What are we going to do with Quay Walker? What are we going to do with Devontae Wyatt? All guys that have some, solid pedigree to them.
Absolutely.
And then, as we've said, when you increase that pressure, it takes some pressure off of your secondary. Xavier McKinney came in there and was an eraser.
Yes.
And so now you get to a point where it's like, Now you got somebody who can really get consistent pressure along with a Rashawn Gary who has never been an elite pass rusher. And now he's your secondary pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
This could be one of those defenses that we turn up and be like, oh, this is a top 4 defense in the league. And I know there's some good defenses out there, but with the way we saw Jeff Hafley get stuff out of this defense,
yes.
Now it's like, okay, cool. And again, I know that they have some issues in their secondary. A lot of the good defenses do at this current point in time. But this is from what they wanted. This is one of those go for it moves where it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. But I'm not sold on their corners. But like you said, Jeff Hafley got like you said, they didn't have Jair Alexander last year throughout the season. So
exactly,
he played along. Like this defense was good. And like you said, he got something out of the defense without having a Micah. Micah changes everything on this defense. Like you said,
absolutely.
Rashawn Gary becomes the number 2. And like you said, he had 9 or 10 sacks last year. Like you said, Lucas Van Ness, I was never sold, but he can develop into something now because now he's in a rotational role and the pressure is off of him to actually become something. Like you said, Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, the things that they have on the pieces that they have on this defense already. Now, I do believe that they need to go get another corner. They need to
absolutely.
They
need to go grab a. I don't. To be quite honest, I know go grab a Stephon Gilmore if you have to. And I understand it's not that's not pretty or anything, but anything because now just
Kendall Fuller.
Yeah, somebody. But to me, it's like you brought up Lucas Van Ness, where it's like on obvious passing downs. Kick him inside and allow him to be a strong, big just pocket pusher until he develops. And now you got you a NASCAR package of Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, and Lucas Van Ness. Like,
come on, man.
That can cause some hell.
Like you said, with the and on top of that, obviously Micah hasn't been in training camp at all. He hasn't had any football. They have the luxury of easing him in.
Absolutely.
Like they don't even have to go out there. He had to play 60 snaps on defense week 1. He can go and just play on third down on obvious passing downs for 4 weeks and be good enough. And they can still be good enough until he actually gets in football shape and get that callus under his belt. Like they have the luxury to do that. That's why I have them. That's why I have them I have them as a contending team in the NFC for sure.
And I don't normally like early bye weeks, but I'm looking at their schedule and it almost works out for them because they do have an early bye week. Now they just have to stay healthy, but they start the season out with Detroit. So that's going to be a tough game regardless, a tough division game, of course. But again, like you said, you still can ease Micah in. Then you come on a short week to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sold that Washington can do exactly what they did last year, but even if you just give Micah, a 60% snap share, and you're not just out there, rushing the passer all the time, and you easing them in, that's a winnable game.
Yeah,
and then you go to Cleveland, and then you go to Dallas, and then you have your bye week.
Bro, they beating bro, on Sunday night football in Dallas.
Yeah.
Week 4, Micah returning. Yeah. He's going to wreck. That's going to be the game where he play 100%. He's going to
and that's what I'm saying. That's the game that he's going to really be unleashed. And then after that, there's a bye week.
Oh,
so it's like their schedule almost aligns perfectly for this almost late in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So now these 4 games is about to be like him just easing in through preseason.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to Green Bay. They seen the window and they took it. Cause like I say, they've been linked to Trey Hendrickson in the rumor mill all off season. They've been linked to Max Crosby all off season. So like you said, so some of these rumors have been true that they've been trying. And like you said, once Micah became available, they didn't play any game. They got the contract the same damn time as the trade was accepted. The contract was announced as well. So they didn't need a whole off season to figure out what they was trying to do. They talked to the agent. They got all that. No, We have
Yes.
another offense. We have. Trust me, y'all gonna get the ranch. Y'all
It,
gonna get the ranch y'all want. Trust me.
you go get what you paid for. Don't worry about it, people.
Just
Don't
trust
worry
me.
about it.
But this is the NFC North, and I'm being on my best behavior. But at the end of the day, I think I said it on Straight to the Point podcast that I had the team. I had the team that they can beat the Eagles, the best chance to beat the Eagles. I think I picked the Packers, and I didn't even believe it then. I believe it now.
Oh yeah,
I believe it now. I have them as a contending team for sure. I got them winning the division as well. But let's move on.
yep. And so moving on, we will go to the Minnesota Vikings.
This is weird. They're weird to me.
Yes, it was so hard for me to place them and think of what can they do, because this is a really good team. We saw what they did last year.
Because I think we're gonna be on the same page. So let's just talk about the addition. They went and got a Jonathan Allen, a Javon Hargrave, got a Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Jordan Mason, Zaire Rogers. Like, who did you lose? Cam Bynum, Cam Robinson, Patrick Jones, Stephon Gilmore, Garrett Bradbury, who wasn't good. Brain back Byron Murphy, which you needed. Harrison Smith is still there. Brought back Aaron Jones as well. You got a punter. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I kind of felt the vibe that we was on the same page. We know what the defense is going to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, we know what Flores is going to do, and he actually got some people up front to help him do the freaky stuff that he like to do with the secondary and coverages that he like to do. So the defense is the defense. They showed that they had some offensive line issues. That's why Sam Darnold kind of fell off towards the end. They tried to shore that up. Getting the Will Fries is cool.
Ryan Kelly
as well. Even
Donovan
at this
Jackson.
stage. And then they get back who they left tackle anyway.
Darisaw coming back from the injury.
Coming back from injury.
That's one of the reasons we saw that Sam Darnold, like it was that was the line of demarcation. When Darisaw went down, that's when you saw a change in this team.
Yeah. So for sure, for that aspect alone, I got them beat. But the whole question, but we just go and get to the joint. Like, well, they did trade for Adam Thielen because he got Jordan Addison 3 games
suspended. Yeah.
That does worry me from a standpoint of they're gonna extra roll the coverage on Justin Jefferson more than what they already do anyway. That kind of worries me as well. And how is JJ McCarthy going to perform? Now I get it. They overachieve. I'll say it in my opinion. They overachieve with what they got from Sam Darnold. They got the way best version of Sam Darnold that even Sam Darnold couldn't imagine.
That wasn't even college. That wasn't even USC Sam Darnold. That was some shit we ain't never
seen before. And I think that they were just trying to stay afloat, be cool, take their medicine from moving on from Kirk Cousins. Ooh, look at the lighting.
There you go. Oh, my boy, gold now, ain't you?
You know what I'm saying? So I think they were just trying to just take their medicine and just go about their season. And I think what they got from Sam Darnold was like I said, never before seen. That's the problem, the tricky spot that we have with this team now, because JJ has to do that. It's like, come on, bro. Like, are we really expecting a first year starting quarterback to duplicate something that was? I mean, Sam Darnold was in the MVP discussion at some point, certain point. Like, come on, bro. Like, are we really expecting him to do that? That's why it's tough to evaluate this team. Because what do we need? What should we realistically expect from JJ for them to get where they're trying to go?
And the thing why it's so hard to really predict what we can get from JJ McCarthy is because I think we would be asking JJ McCarthy to do something that he ain't never really did. Like Sam Darnold went for like over 4,000 yards and I think comfortably over 30 touchdowns. It wasn't like. And I'm not saying JJ McCarthy doesn't possess that, but we've never seen it. We've never seen JJ McCarthy at University of Michigan airing it out. And of course, it's not an offense for that, but like, dog, I feel like JJ McCarthy won a game where they probably threw the ball like 7 times. So it just kind of gives me cause to pause. But him being with KOC, is a very, very helpful tool. And yes, this is technically his first time getting on-field action, but he's been in those rooms. He's gone through the a full training camp, and you still got Justin Jefferson. Like, like
a healthy
at,
TJ Hockenson as well.
and a healthy TJ Hockenson. So at minimum, hey, you got it. And they brought in Adam Thielen, which the first couple weeks is like, okay, it's Adam Thielen. But when you get Jordan Addison back, and then you have a TJ Hockenson, Adam Thielen, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and an Aaron Jones, and KOC.
We ain't never seen a rookie set up like this.
We ain't never, ever seen no rookie come into a situation like this, because now you basically a rookie with a year of experience. And so I think that, hey, JJ, you have an opportunity to be a game manager and look really good.
Yeah, that is true.
You have an opportunity to really just like, hey, don't crash the car. If you could just drive this Ferrari straight, we could be on to something.
But the problem with that is, because they will naturally take a step back, and it's going to be viewed differently. Going to be viewed as he's a downgrade from Sam Darnold, and he didn't do what Sam Darnold did, and this season is a failure because of and unless you're being realistic, like I said, I do have them taking a step back. I think I'll reveal that later. I don't think I have them making the playoffs either, but that's just me.
But my thing about it is, like, as you go through their season, a lot of those games, like, bro, like I'm going through their season last year. All right. Week 4 against Green Bay, 31-29. Close-ass game.
Mm-hmm.
Overtime, 30-27 against the Bears. 23-22 against the Cardinals. 27-24 win against the Seahawks. 27-25 win against the Packers.
See what I'm saying?
21-13 win against the Colts. 23-17 win against the Jets. Like, some of these wins, like, yes, you were
a bounce away.
Like of having, instead of being a 14-win team, you could have easily been a 10-9 win 10. You know what I'm saying? So, and there was a bit of luck in there, and that's what football is. And sometimes when you regress to the mean. Sometimes when you regress, you go below, and it's like a giant swing. And sometimes this year, like last year, you had Sam Darnold and you just overachieved because nobody thought that was possible. So to temper expectations, you kind of have to be a little bit realistic. Like, you got football lucky.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You gotta still put yourself in position to be
exactly.
lucky.
And I'm not trying.
That's why I say
integrate.
That's why I saved it. But that's why I said what I said.
It's
so
like,
it didn't sound disrespectful.
You had a great season, but it doesn't mean that not winning 14 games, because how many teams win 14 games in a season?
Exactly.
And how many teams win 14 games and don't win their division?
Another nasty part.
Exactly. So I think that it's just kind of, you could foreseeably see this team actually win, 10-11 games and be like, damn, this team is actually better than last year. Because it's just how the NFL is.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see. Do we got anything else on the Vikings? Because like we said, to me, it's really just, hey man, how is JJ McCarthy gonna look? JJ McCarthy really hinges on where this season will go. So we love everything else about this team for the most part.
Absolutely.
But JJ McCarthy is the big wild card. So can he kind of steady the ship and keep things going, or is it somewhere it's like, ooh, did they find the right guy? So Now, let's get to the division winner, the Detroit Lions.
I don't know if it's go ahead. You go.
No, you go. My bad.
I don't know if this is a hot take or whatever, but I do got I got the Detroit Lions falling back to earth. Not falling back to earth, but I got them missing the playoffs as well. I got them taking a major hit based off losing both of the coordinators. And the funny thing about it is, this is going to necessarily sound like not necessarily hate. I don't hate the Lions, but I like everything they did this offseason.
Yeah,
I like the draft, I like the free agency. I like the team. Like the team is once again equipped to withstand some things, the ebbs and flows of the season is what I would say. Not they ain't equipped to all them damn injuries that they had last year, bro. You're not going to have that injury luck, that bad injury luck again.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Like, I'll say it right now. It's impossible.
So off that alone, I should feel better about this team. I should say, you know what, this team should be back in business. They should be back to what they was doing. The coordinator loss is really where I am here, bro. All right, Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator from the jump, and he just needed to get his pieces in order. And once he got his pieces in order, we saw what the defense could do. Ben Johnson was not his first offensive coordinator pick. He fell into Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Now, my thing about is when we talked about the AFC North, what did I say about Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh don't miss when he come to when he pick coaches. No,
exactly.
That's one of the when if you a CEO type coach, then one of the things that you got to do best is pick out your staff. Hey, Dan Campbell missed with his first offensive coordinator, man. Once again, he fell into a Ben Johnson. Am I supposed to just be automatically sold that he just went into and fought another one and the offense is just gonna be the same? Yeah, I'm not buying that. And on top of that, the way that they lost that playoff game to the Commanders was more so kind of a Jared Goff thing, and that I like Jared Goff, but a lot of the negative things that they always say about Jared Goff start to rear his ugly head. And the way he lost, I'm not sure that he's ready to recover from that. Yeah. Like, I think he's about to, it's about to be a lot of roller coaster golf,
Exactly. And my thing about it is, even with Goff, we know Goff is flawed. We know Goff is flawed, but he had a Sean McVay. And he had his moments. He got to Detroit. He got a Ben Johnson, got the vote of confidence, but you had a Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson stayed a lot longer than most people thought he would. And you were able to really do that. And now you bring in a John Morton. And I'm not really sure what we're going to get from John Morton.
Where he from?
He's from Denver. He was the passing game coordinator. And then he had a stint with the Lions as an offensive assistant. So, yeah, I'm not 100% certain that this offense is going to be the juggernaut that it once was when you have the creativity of a Ben Johnson. And so, like you said, when it comes to when it comes to the creativity that you had, I need to see it, because Ben Johnson, he would constantly have us looking at plays like, damn, why are we not doing this?
Bro,
like even just in the run game.
He had to play Amon-Ra ran a route that one of them Instagram routes that we see. I'm like, hold on, dog. He really ran this and was wide open.
Open. And another thing where, like, I brought it up with the Eagles, some of the turnover on the offensive line, losing to Frank Ragnow and then, bumping Graham Glasgow over the center and bringing in a Tate Ratledge, who he hasn't gotten shine in reviews as of from camp. That can throw a wrench into your plans, because now you have a Christian Mahogany, a Graham Glasgow, and a Tate Ratledge interior. It can look a lot different. And so
also Dan Skipper gone too. And I know he's the 6th offensive lineman, but they used him a lot.
Right. And so now you might not have the offensive line to protect Jared Goff, which could hurt the running game that set up everything that Jared Goff was doing. And then you still got Jared Goff without what we think to be one of those offensive geniuses. It's yet to be seen. So I don't want to denigrate, John Morton. I think I said his name right. But it could look a lot different.
I think what took Ben Johnson over the top was his creativity, and when it was time to sprinkle in some of those creative plays, and when it was time to do some of those things. So at the same time, I think on a down-to-down basis, I think Tim Morton can actually look at the film and duplicate some of the things that they did. But like I say, it's boring. Not necessarily boring. It might be boring and effective, but at the end of the day, you're gonna need those explosives, those creativities, those things to take you over the top. And it's yet to be seen for him to do that. But can he duplicate what they do on a down-to-down basis? I'm sure he can do that with the personnel that they got. It ain't hard just to copy and paste, you know what I'm saying, to do what they do. And you was in the building before. So like you said, you're not foreign to what they doing. And on top of it, you can lean on the running game. At bare minimum, you can lean on the running game to help you do whatever you need to do and stabilize and control clock and do something. So I'm not, like I said, everything that I'm saying don't add up to how I really feel about their season, because what I'm saying about how their season is going to end is not tangible. That's just a
for sure,
for
sure. And I'm not saying that this thing is going to completely fall off a cliff. What I am saying though is a lot of factors involved have changed, so I don't think it's going to look like what we saw last year, because again, that offensive interior is different, and that can change a lot of things that you rely on: your pocket, your run game, and some of the scheme that you've relied on in the past. Aaron Glenn is gone. We've seen that Aaron Glenn was out there getting, with a lot of faith in his secondary, getting a lot of things done with just scraps from the refrigerator. You get an Aiden Hutchinson back. But is he going to be like, when is he going to be Aiden Hutchinson that we saw before the injury? We don't know when that's going to be, because that was a pretty devastating injury. And, I've seen him run, in some of his clips this offseason. It don't look like he 100% trusted just yet. So again, if you don't have that, and then you don't have Aaron Glenn, I can't say that we're still going to get the same production on that side of the ball and the same production on the offensive side of the ball, so it can look different. And I also think Dan Campbell's aggressiveness paired extremely well with Ben Johnson's creativity. And so if we don't get that, now I don't know, like they've talked about how Dan Campbell's aggressiveness really fueled this team. So to get aggressive and then say what you want. A lot of players talk about, man, we love when we hear a trick play get called into the huddle.
When it worked.
When it worked. But when you have someone willing to try it, and a lot of times, like, it works. And even if it may not work as often as you think it does, because you're aggressive and you keep and you allow and you have the freedom to continue to do it and stuff, that pushes that team. And so now, will Dan Campbell's aggressiveness end up colliding with Morton if he's, reserved or not as creative or, anything like that? Or if he doesn't even have the feel of the game like Ben Johnson did in the regular season?
Yeah. This is a tough division. I think everybody still crowned the toughest division in the league based off last year. I think, they're going
I believe so as well.
And they got the crown this year, at least for another year till we see otherwise, or till the games is played. But man, I ain't got much more left to say about Detroit. Like I said, it's no hate
Absolutely
towards Detroit. Not. It's just like I said, I get it. It might sound like hate. I get it, because what I said, how I feel about how the season is going to turn out. Like I said, it's not tangible, because like I said, I did like everything that they did this offseason. I liked some of the moves. I even like some. I like the hire. I like the hires that they made. The draft was good and everything, and the feeling, the redemption of the fueling of something bad happening. They used it the year before, to come back, last season, they use that as that fuel that they fired. So them losing in the playoff in the fashion that they lost could be another fuel that they fire. Like, hey, your job not finished. We got to get our get back.
100%.
The way that Dan Campbell motivates, that could be the motivating factor. Amon-Ra halfway restarted. So, I mean, I like it, man. And then the more and more that they print, the more and more they use Gibbs, the more and more explosive that they get out of the running game. I feel you. I get it, Detroit. But that was the AFC North. We have finally completed.
Did we lose Hill or did y'all lose me? I don't know which one happened first. But in the event that y'all lost Hill and not me, I'm just going to do the outro and say, hey, this is the NFC North. We have completed all of our division previews. Catch more upcoming podcasts during the season. A lot of reactions, a lot of breakdowns. This is when we come alive. And so we look forward to really having a bunch of good conversations with y'all during this NFL season and this college football season. For Hill, I'm AJ. This is the 3-Man Weave podcast. Some of y'all the fours, and some of y'all the Fab Five, baby. Until next time, we are